guys, welcome back to another video. Today we received a Solomon Island shipment, and normally we take you guys to the airport with us and give you some footage of all of that stuff, all of the dynamics from a real importer that actually physically goes to the airport and clears shipments. Today was not exactly like that. We did go to the airport, but it was not looking like this was going to be a successful import. We had some issues, and I wasn't even sure if we would be going to the airport to pick up anything at all. However, it had a happy ending. I have boxes in the back of my truck, and I want to show you guys Solomon Islands. We will show you what it's like to unpack, and hopefully there are some nice animals in this shipment. So let's get started. Here is a big red girl, really red, and looks obviously gravid as well, but that is nice. That is a nice animal. So here's a Isabel this is the stuff that everybody's pretty much looking for, I guess. It's a big female, quite nice looking. That head stripe is very, very different. You can see it is very bold. That already stands out to me as being different. I've seen so many of these, but that one's weird. You guys, there are some extreme red animals. That is beautiful. That is a nice looking animal right there. Female. There's a lot of gravid girls in this shipment. Oh, I like that. That is nice. So it is now the next day, and we are going to do a continuation showing you the rest of the animals that arrived on that Solomon Island shipment. But first, I want to take you guys back to the scammer video. And if you missed it, I'll put a link to the scammer video up here in the corner. But this was a new one on me, and I just wanted to share it with you guys to kind of give you guys a little bit of insight and maybe even prepare you guys for something similar to this, because it was kind of very out of the ordinary and I wasn't expecting it. So the Solomon Island shipment arrived. Actually, it hadn't arrived yet. It was in the air. There was a problem with the CITES permit. It had been extended. It was an extended permit, and the expiration date was valid, but Fish and Wildlife had an issue with the length of the extension. So I woke up on Thursday morning with a message to call my broker because there was a problem. The problem was that, and Fish and Wildlife was going to reject the shipment and send it back to the Solomons, which that would have been a miracle in and of itself, because there's a transit country, it goes through Fiji, it's a different airline, it changes airlines, there's very limited flights, just the whole thing would have been a mess. So that was the issue that I was dealing with. As the day progressed, I got a call later on in the day that Fish and Wildlife was not going to send the shipment back. I kind of assumed that was the case due to the complications of the logistics of doing so. So they decided to release the shipment to me conditionally. That is called a conditional release, and it basically means that they allow you to take the shipment pending a correction. So in this case, it was a document correction. So the CITES in Solomon Islands had issued a brand new CITES certificate and issued a letter of apology to U.S. Fish and Wildlife and an explanation. And they submitted that electronically, but Fish and Wildlife wants the original document. So I assumed that Fish and Wildlife was not going to release the hold on the animals until they had the original document in hand. That means I couldn't do anything with the animals. They were all to be kept here until the release was lifted. Now here's where it gets sticky. The Solomon Islands supplier therefore saw that he had an advantage over me because whatever he did affected whatever U.S. Fish and Wildlife would do with me. So it became a blackmail situation. The shipper demanded $1,000 in order for him to mail the brand new CITES certificate to Fish and Wildlife here in Los Angeles. And I wasn't about to do that. I was already ready to cut my losses. I just figure 2 months of pension checks, I'm good, my money's recovered, and if they took the animals, so be it. But financially, I would be in an okay situation. I refused to pay, and we had some words, some dialogue going back and forth. I refused to pay. While we were both going back and forth, I got a call from Los Angeles from my broker that said U.S. Fish and Wildlife released the hold. The shipper got the same exact phone call. His tone then changed, but I was still upset because I was being blackmailed. So anyway, I've severed ties with that supplier. Just a little bit of information for you guys. You always have to be aware of stuff like that, and that was a bizarre situation that took me by surprise. And the supplier capitalized on it, and he lost a 7-year customer permanently, and that's a no-go. But anyway, it ended on a happy note. The animals have been released. I've already been selling a few, and I want to show you guys what else came in the shipment, so let's check it out. So Monkeytail Skinks, you guys, I got a bunch of these babies. They are always amazing. They do really, really well. We like to feed ours like a vegetable mix, spinach, papaya, and they just eat everything. They're actually nocturnal, and they eat during the night. So we keep them in very small groups, and during the night, these guys just forage and grub down, and we find the plates just like completely empty. Even any of the stuff that they knock off the plate, they will go back and eat it, and there will be zero remnants of anything. So they are really interesting animals. They are arboreal. They use this tail prehensile, right? Kind of like a monkey. And they're really cool. For the most part, they're mild-mannered, but occasionally, you know, you might get one that's a little bit agitated, but the babies are pretty chill. If you're restraining them and like really restraining them with your hands, they sometimes will get upset, and they will turn and try to give you a nip, which doesn't feel good, even though these guys are kind of vegetarian, omnivorous, a little bit of both, but they have a very strong bite. But this one is actually really interesting. I kind of just randomly grabbed one, but this one has like a black collar, which I think is pretty cool. So hopefully my hand doesn't taste good and it gives me a little test bite. I don't think that's going to happen though. So Monkeytail Skinks, you guys, really, really cool. All babies. We also got a small quantity of Varanas Spinulosis spiny neck monitors. All babies and all really energetic and strong. We like to feed these guys daily on crickets, and they just mow down. Absolutely. But the thing that's really interesting about these, I notice a big difference between these and other monitors is when I have them in a cage and then I'm coming in to the room, a lot of the other monitors are super sketchy and they just bolt. And these come to the glass, they look, they stare, they pay attention. They're just not super high energy compared to other monitors, but I do have to keep my hands on them because, you know, at some point they might take off. But this one is already mellowing out a lot, but super beautiful patterns. Really, really interesting monitor. So we have a small quantity of these guys, very prehistoric looking, kind of a mix between a whole bunch of different monitor species. Very, very pointy nose. They're neat. We also got a quantity of Solomon Island tree boas, Candoia, Bibrini, Astralis. Very, very docile animals, really mellow. I think on all the ones that I've ever seen, I've only had one that was actually defensive and wanted to bite. almost timid to the point where you wonder if something's wrong with it. That's pretty much how I describe these. They come in a lot of different colors, spots, patternless, all kinds of stuff. This one is a really interesting kind of orange one. They fire up and fire down, kind of just like a gecko or a lizard. You can catch them when they're super colorful, catch them when they're kind of dark. It's actually very difficult to even photograph because you almost never will catch them when they're fired up, and so it's kind of a challenge. But we have a few of those. We have a very small amount of females, lots of boys. I'll show you another one. So this is one of the high patterned ones. And again, they change colors so much. This animal could go to like super light, almost like pastel gray, and then get darker, even sometimes to the point where you don't see any more pattern. It's a very extreme change in color. And here is a big female. This is like a jumbo size female. You will be hard pressed to find any Solomon Island tree boas bigger than this. This is pretty much it. And this is a big girl. Males typically are a lot smaller, but this is one of the real big ones that came in this shipment. So typically the small ones we're feeding like hopper-sized mice or something equivalent. And then these bigger ones like this are eating rat pups. And this one's already fed. And then we got a small batch of these Lamprolempus. Green tree skinks, I believe, is the accepted common name, although if you ask about green tree skinks from different countries, there's probably going to be one in just about every single country. But this is Lamprolempus smaragdina. And we have a small amount. They do really well as long as you spray them and get them hydrated, feed them crickets. They do pretty well. And then there's males and females of these guys. So that's about it, you guys. Solomon Islands unboxing, uncrating, whatever you like to call it. With a couple hiccups, interesting kind of occurrences. Always try to share with you guys all the stuff that's going on. Hopefully the information that I pass on to you guys helps you move forward with your hobby, your business, whatever it may be. Reptile Super Show is coming. You can Google search that expo for more information, and we will do another video leading up to it. The Sacramento show has been canceled due to state of California COVID mandates. So that show has been removed from our schedule. So that is done. What else? We may have another couple unboxing videos for you guys and species highlights and that sort of thing. Thank you so much for watching. Be safe, you guys, and we will see you in the next video. Take care.